Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Senay. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a first impressions and review on the Real Techniques Bold Metals Collection Miracle Diamond Sponge. So if you did watch my Priceline haul, I did show it in that haul and I said I would do a review on it. A lot of you did suggest that I try it out on camera, so that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm just going to read a little bit of information on the back of the packaging. Okay, so it says this multi-faced Miracle Diamond Sponge is designed to work with multiple products on different areas of your face. No two sponges are alike, each has its own unique swirl design. So it does say the top of the sponge is to buff and blend for a flawless finish. It says the smaller flat sides are to work around the eyes, mouth and brow bone area. The larger flat sides function as a wedge to apply makeup to larger areas, and the pointed tip covers small imperfections. Use wet for a dewy application and dry for a full coverage powders. Replace every 1 to 3 months. So usually that is a rule with these sponges. You need to replace it about every 3 months because bacteria does grow in them. I can say I'm very guilty of not replacing mine every 3 months. I usually hold on to them for quite a while. I always do wash them every day, but you should still replace them. I don't know, I don't really do that, but I should. Okay, so I've got the sponge here. It actually is quite soft. There is a little bit of indentation from the packaging, but I'm sure that might go away once we wet it or use it. So I do have other sponges here to compare, but these ones are damp because I did wash them. So I do have the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, so that's kind of the size once it's damp. I also do have my Beauty Blender here, and here is the Diamond Sponge, which obviously isn't wet yet, but I will go wet this now so we can see the size difference. Okay, so now this one is damp. You can see it's definitely grown in size. It almost looks bigger than my Beauty Blender, but these ones are currently kind of drying off, so they're not as big as what they could be. So basically I'm going to demo using this sponge today. I'm not sure what foundation I want to use. I think I'm going to use my Stila Stay All Day foundation today, just because I do know how this performs and blends out. I really do like it, so if it doesn't blend out well, I know that it's probably because of the sponge, because I don't have any troubles with this foundation. I will mention at the end of the video all the pros and cons about this sponge, what I think of it, if I think it's better than these sponges, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly prime my face. I'm going to use my Ultra 3 Ready to Glow primer. I usually do prime my face, so I'm going to do it today. I'm also going to use my NYX Pore Filler Primer just to use around my nose and kind of cheek area where I have the largest pores. Okay, so I've got my foundation. This one is in the colour Honey number 8, but I will leave all the details listed down below. I'm just going to dot this on my face. Okay, so I think I'm going to start using the side of the sponge just to see what that's like. Okay, so I feel like it is blending out quite easily. I do feel like the foundation looks a little bit heavier than normal, like it's not shearing it out as much, which isn't a bad thing. It just looks more kind of full coverage than normal. So for this side of my face, I'm actually going to take the top of the sponge and use that. So this does cover a very large area, so it does apply heaps, like really quickly. I actually really like this side because I feel like if you're in a rush, it will get done really quickly. I'm just going to go to my forehead now using the large side. And I'm just using the side of the sponge to kind of get closer to the hairline. I'm just going to put a little bit more foundation on my nose area. I don't think the large side really works well around the nose, so I'm going to use kind of like the pointed end. It is a little bit like flimsy though. Okay, so I do really like this large side here. I feel like it does cover a very large area, so you do blend the foundation out quite quickly. The only thing is I feel like that my foundation looks more flawless with my Beauty Blender, or even this sponge right here. I feel like this can almost look a little bit cakey around the face. I feel like these two really sheer it out, which I enjoy because I feel like I'm really blending out the foundation, and if I do want higher coverage I can always go in with another layer. But this one I feel like isn't as smooth smooth on the face, but that's maybe just me. I just feel like around the cheek area, it just feels a little bit thick. I couldn't maneuver this fine tip right here, like around my nose. Like I didn't really get in very well. Like there's not much coverage around my nose. And this is quite flimsy. Like I know it's a sponge, but I feel like it could eventually maybe break off. So I'm just going over one last time to try and smooth it out a little bit more. I think everywhere else looks alright, but the nose is just not really working for me. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of my face as normal. I'm going to use this to bake and also blend out my concealer and contour. I'm just going to take my L'Oreal Infallible concealer palette and I'm going to put these two colours here underneath my eyes. I'm just going to apply them with a brush first. Maybe my finger. I'm just going to lightly blend that out with the pointed side. I'm just going to use my Mud Concealer in Ivory to highlight underneath my eyes. I'm also going to put this on my chin and just around my mouth, a little bit down my nose and my forehead. I'm just going to blend this all out. Again, I'm just using this pointed side for underneath my eyes just because I feel like it really gets in underneath there, which I like. I'm going back to the flat side for my forehead. Okay, so I'm going to set under my eyes with my Australis banana powder. I actually always use a brush for this step, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a little bit of this under my eyes and then I will bake. Okay, so before I bake with this sponge, I'm actually going to do a little bit of cream contouring just to try it out. I'm going to use my NYX Wonder Stick. So this one's in light to medium. I'm just going to put a little bit of this underneath my cheekbones. I'm just using kind of the pointed end just so it's a little bit more precise. I think I actually really like this for blending out the contour. I feel like I've got a little bit more control with it. Okay, so overall for cream contouring, I actually really liked this sponge for it just because I felt like the tip was very precise. I don't really have any trouble with my other sponges, but I felt like this one really got into where I wanted, especially around the nose. I could focus right on the edges here. Okay, so now I am going to be doing a little bit of baking. I'm going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder. I am still going to bake under my eyes. I know I've set that area, but I always use the banana powder to kind of correct my dark circles, but I also like to do this because it does brighten the area and then I feel like my makeup does last longer. I'm just going to take the side of the sponge and dip it straight in. So just like that. And I'm just going to pat it. I'm also going to bring this up on the side of the nose. I'm going to put a little bit around my mouth just so I don't crease. I actually really love this for under the eyes. I felt like it covered the area perfectly. I think this would definitely be like a good baking sponge. I'm just going to set the rest of my face with my Savvy Natural Press Powder. This one is in the colour Sand Beige. So I'm just going to use a brush to do this. Okay, so my base is all done. I didn't really need to show you that last step, but I thought I may as well complete my base makeup. Anyway, I'm going to go finish off the rest of my makeup and then I'll come back with my final thoughts. Okay, so my makeup is all done. If you're wanting to know what products I did use on my face, I will have them listed down below. So my lashes, lipstick, all that kind of stuff will be listed down below. So anyway, let's get to my final thoughts on this sponge. I didn't hate the sponge, but I didn't love it either. I did enjoy that I had a very large area here to kind of cover my face, but I felt like it didn't blend out as nicely as a beauty blender or the original Real Techniques beauty sponge. I just felt like it kept leaving lines on my face, so I had to kind of go over those areas. I just feel like with these sponges here, because they are round, there is no kind of line to leave on the face. It just kind of blends out really nicely. So putting foundation around the nose was a little bit hard to work with any side on this sponge. I felt like I couldn't get the coverage I wanted. I just felt like it kind of kept coming off of my nose, which I don't usually have that problem. I feel like with these sponges, it just smoothly goes on. However, I did like this sponge for blending out my cream contour and also baking my face. I feel like because it does have such distinctive edges on this sponge, I feel like with baking it was just really good to get under that eye area. Even with baking along here is really good. Same with the nose contour, I could get a really straight line when baking or blending out the cream contour with this sponge, whereas these ones I have to be a little bit more careful to kind of really blend out that line or even to bake. So I hope what I'm saying is making sense to you guys. I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. So honestly, would I go out of my way to buy this sponge? Probably not. I'd probably only buy it for the fact it is really cute, and I reckon a lot of you guys have probably bought this sponge because it is cute. Let me know if you do enjoy using it though. I just felt like it was a little bit hard to work with. It's probably because I'm so used to using my round beauty blenders or beauty sponges. This one just wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. So anyway guys, I would really like to hear your thoughts below. Do you really like this sponge? Because I would really like to know. Do you hate the sponge? Do you feel like there's other sponges that work better? Do you just love your beauty blender, or do you just love the Real Techniques beauty sponge? To be honest, I think these two are my favorite sponges. I just love my beauty blender, but this one really does the job for me as well. I have no problems with this sponge. Overall, I'll probably only use this diamond sponge to probably bake my face and blend out my cream contour, but not all over like foundation on my face. So please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up for me if you enjoyed it or it was helpful. I love doing these types of videos, so let me know what other things you would like me to try out or maybe review. All my social networks are linked down below as well. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all that kind of stuff. Come follow me on Instagram if you want to see heaps of makeup pictures, and you also will get like sneak peeks to tutorials that will be coming out soon. Anyway, I'll see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye!